Switches, input and output sockets are fitted. Any additional board will be fitted to it, and the power supply components will also be fitted on, so that the component begins to look, the unit begins to look like a finished item. And once it gets to that stage, it can then be taken to its final stage of assembly, which involves putting on a wraparound rear and a silkscreen front with all the controls added to it. And then this would be a finished product ready for testing in the test department. Every equipment that goes through, we keep a history sheet with it, so we know when it was built, what the issue was, and if there were any changes or faults found on it, they get recorded, and all the stages are recorded as well. So we've got full traceability on every unit that's built in-house, so that if there's any follow-up inquiries about it, we're on hand to say, yes, this is what happened to the unit while it was in the factory.
Excellent.
This unit's at the very end of its assembly cycle. The second stage PCB and assemblies have been put into the wraparound rear, the front's been added, and now the knobs have been added to the top, and then the coloured caps will be added after that, and the unit will be finished and passed through for testing. If there are any faults on the unit, it will just come back here, be corrected, marked on the sheet, and come back again, but generally they go through quite well.
And this is the same process here?
And this is the same process here, the unit just being finished off prior to testing, having gone through all the previous stages in-house to this level.
Great.
As some of our products, the desks are modular, then we have to build up all the modules before we can build the final product. So this is just a normal PCB that's now had all its second stage components added to it, the sockets, input output, the controls, and it's ready now for final assembly. So it goes from this to this.
Right.
And once it's in this stage, it can then be tested prior to being put into, in this case, an M1 unit. Okay, if you'd like to come round. Then come into the test area and will be placed upon the shelf either in a final unit form or a sub-assembly form and go through their test procedure. Each unit will be tested, and then it will be placed onto a soak rack where it will be run up, and after it's had its soak period, it will then come off for a final test to make sure that it still meets the specs, and then it will come on to here for a safety test to make sure that electrically it is safe and sound, giving it the earth leakage and flash testing, and then an audio test to make sure that it does actually do what we says it does before it goes out the door.
Thank you. Great.
Okay. Right, this is the area where we do our testing. We have a industry standard nitric here, a scope, DVM and a PC, and they're all linked together. The nitric feeds in to the PC, and this test box, which is in-house, feeds in here. The procedure we use is paperless, it's on the screen, and as the computer is stepped through the procedure, it automatically changes the settings on the nitric and changes the settings on the test box to suit the particular phase of the test. And as you go through the test, it's done in a sequence that is repeatable. Every single time it will do the same thing over and over again, so it's virtually error free. You can't sort of lose a test anywhere. They all come up on the screen. This is changed hands free and this is changed hands free, and you just have to follow whatever it says on the screen to do the test.
So it's kind of automated.
Yeah, it's sort of semi-automated, and it's very repeatable, very reliable. We like it.
Okay.
Right?
And every unit goes through this.
Every single unit goes through this test on here.
And sub components sometimes.
And some of the boards go through as well for pre-testing before they go into the unit.
Okay.
Bigger units like the desk will.
And this is a VTC.
Yeah,
Hello.
This is a 24-channel VTC. Can't be tested on a normal bench, so we bring the test gear to the VTC instead and go through the test procedure in that form rather than take it to the bench. Again, every VTC has a thorough test. Every channel is pre-tested on the bench, and then the whole unit is tested as a finished item. It's then soaked and then retested again before we're happy that we can send it out. And we find, we don't move the VTC around the company as we test it. We bring everything to the VTC so that it's always in the same position and stays in good condition while we do the testing.
Okay.
Once the units have finished all their testing and their safety and audio testing, they come out here and they wait for dispatch. This unit will sit here until we receive the dispatch instructions. It will then get moved into a crate and packed up and shipped out to wherever it has to go. Europe, America, Far East, many different places that they will go off to, and that's the same for the boxed up units. Once they're packed, they'll sit here ready for dispatch, and as the orders come in, the units will be shipped out.